Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Caprill. This is a weird year. And there's a lot of examples of how weird the year this is. But in my opinion, the weirdest has to do with the vandalism that we're seeing to Tesla cars. Now, roll back the clock, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Teslas were the darling of everybody. I don't think some people cared. I didn't care. But there are people who absolutely loved them. They felt that they were environmentally friendly, and as a result, encouraged everybody to have an electric car. The government gives tax credits, which is better than deduction. Tax credits if you buy an electric car, and that's been a big reason why sales have gone up. And without getting political, as you know, Elon Musk has taken a position within the Trump administration, and suddenly the popularity of his cars among some people, the very people who loved that car, now we see acts of terrible vandalism. And as a result, I think some people, maybe out of fear, are selling them. Now, there are other electric cars out there, but it's just kind of weird how suddenly the sides have changed. I don't know. I don't want to comment on this politically. I want to comment on it economically. So let's talk about this idea of an electric car. The first thing that I always want to point out to people is that if you are buying an electric car purely for environmental reasons, you may want to do a little bit more research. And the only reason I say that is because, first of all, those lithium batteries that are in that car are not environmentally sensitive, good, all right? Sensitive probably is the word. They're not environmentally sensitive. They are problematic. The second thing is most electricity comes from coal-burning plants. So we're just simply increasing the demand of electricity. Perhaps we'll reach a point where all electricity comes from hydropower or solar. I doubt it. Not as long as there's plenty of coal out there to burn. So just understand that while on the one hand you may be feeling good that you're not putting carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, whatever it is that a regular car emits, a gas burning car emits, just understand there's other environmental issues as well. And so it's not necessarily quite the pureness that I think a lot of us have. Now, if you're buying it for economic reasons, that's a whole nother story. And what you have to do then is you have to factor in the fact that while maybe you are not having to buy gas anymore, you did have to pay more for the car than if you had bought the gas burning alternative to the car, whatever that is. Now, if it's like a $10,000 or $15,000 difference between the electric and a comparable gas burning car, well, you got to factor that in. How many miles do you have to put on the electric car before you've made up the savings on gas between the two cars' prices? In this example, $15,000. Do that math. And of course, if the price of gas goes down, it'll take you even longer. In some ways, buying a car is more of a lifestyle choice than anything else. I could argue maybe public transportation is the most economical way. You don't have to buy any insurance or any fuel or anything like that, but it's a lifestyle, and depending on where you live, that may not work. The other thing you have to keep in mind too with an electric car is the time it takes to recharge them. So if you do a lot of long distance driving, you're going to have to factor that into your travel plans. It's probably not a great option for me because I have a tendency to let the gas meter get down to about 50 miles of gas left. And then I look. Now my wife, on the other hand, as soon as it gets to halfway, she goes and refuels her car. So if you generally don't drive huge distances, well, an electric car is great because you can top it off every night. You go home, you plug it in, and it's ready to roll. And those batteries are lasting longer. I mean, the new cars that are coming out are getting it to a point where they're getting close to. I think the goal is 500 miles. I think the belief is that once they can get you 500 miles per charge, the popularity will go up. They've come a long way. I had a friend who had one, and it was like, he had like a Leaf. I think Chevy made it. He only got like 45 miles to a charge. Now he's got a new one that goes like 200 and something. Whatever. Just make sure that you factor this in. Now, if you own a Tesla, while I don't think we're going to have this national issue as far as, vandalism goes and all that, but it is something you need to be mindful of in terms of, where you park it, et cetera, and I hope nothing happens. I hopefully won't ever get to a point where the insurance companies step in and say, oh, we're going to have a Tesla now, we're going to charge even more because of potential property damages. The media has a tendency to heighten this and elevate this. But remember this, Tesla owners, you got 9 cameras in your car. So just make sure that if, God forbid, something bad happens to your car, that you activate the data from those 9 cameras so that the police can get it, and they'll catch whoever is doing this. But vandalism is a terrible thing. You don't want to own a Tesla, don't own one. You don't have to destroy somebody else's property. What makes this country great is the freedom to buy legally buy stuff that you like and not have anyone, prevent you from doing it. At least they shouldn't. All right. So keep that in mind as you do the math with cars. Applies for anything else, but cars tend to come up a little bit more. All right. If you ever have any questions on that, give me a holler. Take care. Bye-bye.